with Everybody's Talking About It, the show where we talk about everything that everybody's talking about. Welcome to season 2, episode 1. We're back for another season. It's on, it's popping, it's lit, it's on fire. I'm hot, they not, they mad.
Okay. All right.
Keep going, Meek. South Philly or North Philly?
South Philly all day.
Did that?
You know, that's for life. So you know.
Wow.
Anyway, as y'all can see, I got my bros with me, my homies. So first question I have, brothers, y'all all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
That's all that matters. So I got my homie Charlie with me on the end. My videographer who's in front of the camera today. Give it to him, Gus. Give it to my cousin Tiberius right here. Y'all meeting him for the first time. It's my dog. Thanks for coming through. And then with Trent. Y'all know Trent from the Juice Box Podcast. Holla at him. And then we go there with Earl, my homie. Give it up for you know who. Rodney. And last but not least, all the way from the Janae Latrice Podcast. Give it up for Jerome. Hey. So, we're going to honor y'all first. Because let me tell y'all about this. Last season, the end of last season, I did a all-female episode where I was honoring all the black women and all of the tremendous things that they do and contribute to, you know, society and things nowadays. And I wanted to do the same thing for you guys. But of course, I got to make ours a little bit deeper. You know, our situation, our experience is a little bit different than that of the black women. While we're, you know, black women are still going through their own, you know, struggles and experiences. Ours is a little bit mainstream. So we can't be, you know, I'll be remiss if I didn't highlight those things. But like I did for the girls, I want to start with the same process. I want to go down the line and, you know, briefly describe your experience so far as being a black man, you know? So Charlie, I'm going to start with you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Charlie. I'm 32. My experience as a black man.
He's 32.
The newly babies back here. Anyway.
I'm newly baby. Nobody's baby.
My experience as a black man, for me, my challenge is because I am a dancer. And growing up a dancer in a family of what you guys call thugs, go to jail. So we, that wasn't where I was at. So I got judged a lot because of what, you know, the things that I like to do. I like to dance, I like to sing, I like to perform. So that's not the norms in a household where your dad is just like basketball, football, and he looking at you like, why you don't want to play like that? So play with that stuff. So, you know, I dealt with, you know, hate, just disappointment in people that I thought would have my back, but when they found out that I love to do the things that I do, like dance and act, it was like, oh, wait a minute. And a lot of people think that you're not supposed to do these type of things as a black man. You're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to play basketball, you know, but I felt as though, like, I had to say to my dad one time, like, all my cousins before me did football, in the streets and everything, and they ended up, you know, locked up. I haven't been that way. I'm doing something good and positive in my life. I mean, they all turned their lives around, but it was just like, I took a different path, so I had to break that generational curse with me because I didn't want to go the same route as them, so.
Yeah. What's up, Gus?
All right. I'm 27, so yeah.
This is not a dating website.
He said his age.
I didn't know.
He's talking about. When was you about to get your sign and shit?
I'm a lead.
You know
I just wanted to make it very clear that I got some time now. I got some time.
You know, he about to say I'm good with my hands.
I can build shit.
But go ahead, guys.
So I mean, my experience has been it's been a lot of fun, but interesting at the same time. Because being a black man, like Charlie said, like there's so much expectations of you, right? You have to do this. You have to do this. Oh, you're not a man. You know what I'm saying? By that person's standard. And if you're not a man by that person's standard, all they're gonna say is go to the next person. Oh, so and so, he's not a man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, growing up, what I always appreciated, and I was blessed. A lot of my friends weren't this way, but I was blessed to have my dad in my life. You know what I'm saying? Since day one.
That is a blessing.
So I was always very appreciative of it, and I was always very. I wasn't always appreciative of it, but as I got older, now I understand. Now, at, you know what I'm saying, 27, I can look back, and I can genuinely say I don't think there's a game my dad never was at. You know what I'm saying? And he worked an hour and a half away, but he made sure to always be at every game, and shit like that matters. And then just as growing up, dealing with like the media, the communities, like I said, like you have to. It's hard finding that balance between what is a man and just being who you are.
Wow.
Because being a man, if you want to go by the quote unquote textbook definition, you can't have emotions. You gotta just do what you're supposed to do, which is just provide, which is another conversation for another day. I'll let it rock for right now. But you have to do X, Y, and Z. But it's like, okay, so at what point am I allowed to have emotions? Right. At what point am I able to just sink in and just take a walk down the street and just potentially cry because there's shit I just want to get out? But then still go back in the house, whether you have a child or whether you have a girlfriend, wife, whatever, and act like you wasn't just crying. Like you was just going to the store to get some milk. So it's interesting now, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, finding that path between what is acceptable as a man and just being who you are. But I mean, I wouldn't trade being a black man. I add that, not just being a man, being a black man for anything.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we're going to tap on something that you said a little bit in this conversation. The emotional support between black men is lacking. And I don't know what that deal is, like why we can't be emotionally available for each other when we need to be, but we're going to tap into that in a second. Go ahead, Tiberius.
My name is Tiberius. I'm 26.
I like baseball.
I'm a Cancer. I like my ice cream vanilla and my lemon chocolate.
Here we go.
Yeah, you better tread like this. You with my cousin, man. Go ahead.
But I didn't really get the full understanding of life as a black man until I graduated high school. Where I grew up at, the high school I went to was a melting pot. Like black, white, Indian, everybody. And race wasn't really a thing. And then when I graduated high school, and I went to college in the middle of nowhere, in one of those rinky-dink towns, I was confused on a lot of stuff.
Where'd you go to college?
Started out in Bloomsburg.
Okay. Where'd you go to high school?
Academy Park, right in Delaware County.
Okay.
So, I also have a profession. I work in emergency services, which is a predominantly Caucasian ran service. And so it was some challenges that I had, and then nobody really expect you to make it in that. And if you do make it, they expect you to get to the bottom. With that being said, one thing that my mom always told me as a black man, being younger, when I got older, and even the stage that I'm in now, is that the world is just a game. It's our responsibility to figure out the game. The idea is to master the rules. So they tell me what I gotta do, and we master the rules. I think the biggest thing that I see with black men nowadays is that we think we can play the game the same way that they play the game, and we can't. We think that we have to do what they do, but we can't. We have to be better than them.
Better. I was just about to say
and
that's
the only. Then that's in the rules.
Yeah.
Now they may present you with a book with the rules, but the real rules is over here. You gotta be able to see that with your eyes. You gotta be able to feel that with your spirit. You master the book rules, but you master the real rules, and that's how you get on.
Man, and you said it just right. You got to be able to play the different game, and people don't realize that. And that's just what life is. Come on, give it to me. I'm gonna go to you, Ron, first.
What's going on?
What's going on?
I'm not gonna tell my age.
I think you should.
Listen, I'm right there with you, Ron. I said this was the last time. There's no such thing as 30 anything. Don't wish me a happy 30.
That's
nothing.
right.
It's no such thing. It's happy birthday.
Exactly.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I'm grown 10 years old. And
Say 43? God damn.
Whoa!
Got you ain't right.
I'll take it. I'm 43. Whatever. I'm not. But you know, experience is very tough. We talk about the experiences as a black man specifically. When we talk about being a black man, what I'm learning, because I don't think I've gained all the knowledge about being a man, let alone black man. Yeah. So what I'm learning is that being a black man is a management of a different set of responsibilities. All right. So what I begin to notice is that I lack in a lot of areas. that don't service my community or black women specifically. So if I intend to be an example for my community and for the women, as we're supposed to be, as we're supposed to be the leaders, supposed to be ahead, so the in fronts will be taking the brunt of a lot of things, then I need to tighten up in a few different areas of my life. So there is a management of responsibilities and a different set of rules that we have to play by. All right, so we can't lollygag through life because nothing is going to be given to us. Nothing is going to be handed to us. All right, we're you know, as they say, we're at the bottom of the totem pole, kind of. You know, but we have to accept that with our skin comes a level of, like I keep saying, a responsibility to our community. We are entitled to carry them. That's what we grew up having to do. We have to carry the weight of our community. And if we're not doing that, then we're failing. And if you have to play the game in order to do it, then you have to play the game in order to do it. But you have to be able to properly service your community and service the people around you and those that are connected to you and your loved ones. And that's what I'm learning along this process. That's what I'm learning as a black man specifically. Not just as a man, but as a black man specifically. The white guys can play by different rules. White guys have been given the rule book, right? White guys wrote the rule book. It's our responsibility to not only learn those rules, but create different rules and create a stable future for those coming after us and make sure those that are around us are taken care of. So that's what I'm learning.
Jerry Slough Hall, ladies and gentlemen.
That's wisdom, bro. That's wisdom.
That was good.
That's because I'm 43.
Rodney,
Exactly.
Go ahead, give it to me, Rodney. What you got?
So I have this experience as a black man where for a long time I didn't know where I fit, and that was in my life in a lot of areas of my life. Like, where do I fit? And then my reason is, so part one, just like T and Gus said, I grew up in a family. My parents were married when they conceived me. They were married my entire life. And so I had my dad in my life. And so what the disconnect came was, to the white man, don't matter. I'm still a black man. And they look at me no more, no less than the guy next to me who may or may not have had that same experience. But in the black community, I did not always feel like I belonged. Because I feel like in the black community, it was like, well, you're not, quote unquote, the black man if you did not have, you know, an absent father, somebody selling drugs out of your house, or I didn't have those experiences. So I just said, well, where do I fit? Because white people view me as a black man, but black men don't view me as a black man. Because I didn't have, so I just always felt like in our community, like, why did I always have to feel like I was less than because I wasn't, you know, I didn't have those same struggles. So I think this is like a forum where we definitely could talk about that. Like, I really did not feel like a full-grown black man in my own community because I didn't have those same struggles. However, a white cop will kill me just the same way as he would kill you without your father. So that's my story.
Yeah, give it to me, Earl.
How y'all doing? I'm Earl, 24. I like long walks on the beach.
24?
24?
Damn. Not that. Go ahead, give it to me, Earl. I wasn't talking about that. He talking about long walks on the goddamn beach. Go ahead.
I'm talking about Kensington Avenue. What beach you going to?
Well,
He up there, Mingo.
ain't no Philly
Right.
bitches.
Or the K&A.
Boathouse Road? No. But yeah, so, and you know, just listening, first of all, I just gotta, you know, applaud y'all for y'all experiences, first and foremost. And I already know, you know what I'm saying, I already know you got some experiences too. For me, my experience as a black man in America, because I have to use that specification because I'm nowhere else. If I were, it would be different if I was a black man in Africa or a black man in Russia.
Yeah.
But it's very unique for, you know what I'm saying, us being black men in America, because that is literally that is literally our classification, and it has literally become our stamp around the world. especially because of how we're portrayed. You know what I'm saying? It's like if a black man saves somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, technically he's just a man.
Yeah.
But because of how society is, we got a place. He's a black man. So everybody, just so you know, this was a black man. When for real, I mean, okay, cool. If somebody was saved, yeah, we need to know that somebody was saved. But the stigma that society has placed on the awareness.
You have to keep singling out.
Yes.
Thing.
It's always
It's the problem.
I
get you.
We always have eyes on us. Like I was just in the store the other day and I realized that racism has evolved into subtleties. If I come in the store and it don't matter how much money I'm dropping, within 30 seconds, the owner is literally on the floor with me. I feel your presence. Matter of fact, me and Josh, who was at the store the other day, owner was nowhere to be found. We get to the register, next thing you know. So I make eye contact. As soon as I make eye contact, now she's in a bag. There was a bag literally placed right there for her to go through. When I say we were sitting at the register for about 15 minutes and she literally sat there and went through the same bag of 3 items. For 15 minutes? There is an unwritten stigma that is placed on us wherever we go. And so much so, it's unwritten amongst us.
And watch this. We're going to get there. Give me a second. Go ahead. I'm going to get this out the way.
What's up? I'm Trent, 1/3 of the Juice Box podcast.
Shout out to them.
But as a black man, just listen to a lot of stories and I can definitely relate to a lot of them. But my experience as a black man, life is good. Life has been good to me so far. Just because that's the way it is now doesn't mean that that's how it's going to be. Coming up, I was fortunate to have private schooling and whatnot. So a lot of the games that we were talking about, beating, I've been blessed to try to learn how to master those. So it's whether I'm in a white setting, knowing how to talk to people, know how to articulate, and that shit is stressful. Just being a black man and just knowing that in a white environment or a white workplace, you have to work 3 times as harder. We were even just talking about being a black man. If it's 2 Trents at the job, I'm Black Trent. So it's being a black man, it has its stigmas and it's very stressful. Having to go through that, having to master those games, beat those games, just to be in those rooms with certain people like that. Then just even anytime you turn on a newspaper, anytime you go on Instagram, anytime you look at a newspaper, it's always black men being shot down. Not even police, but just in the streets. So just having to go through the battles of being a black man, beating stigmas, beating stereotypes, and then having to come home and not knowing if you're going to make it home on your way home. Not knowing if your friends are going to be there tomorrow just because they're black men. So it's just hard to just live stressfully in work environments and trying to master those games and also come home and have to face death possibly or a shooting or a killing or losing a loved one, things like that. So overall, on the outside, life has been good, but just stressful. It's just stressful and mentally as a black man on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Now overall, for me, I've had ups and downs, highs and lows, in-betweens, all of that because of, I can honestly say situations, I can't always say that things have been racism. I've dealt with racism, I've experienced racism, but a lot of things have been within our own race because of our own traumatic experiences that we put on each other. So our mindsets be so f***ed up that we put that on each other. So it got bad to the point where growing up, I was the kid in class that was like you would say, Charlie, like you were speaking on, that was kind of misunderstood because you have a talent, you kind of have a gift, but you can't express that amongst kids that don't have that. You got these kids are just going to school just to go, and is that in the third one? You don't know how bad I want to break out in song. I want to get out here and sing in this damn hallway. So once I got the opportunity to be accepted into the best high school of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia High School for the Creative and Performing Arts, I was able to experience. I was able
Are
to
you
experience
sure?
like-minded individuals, like black families who felt the same way about their kids' passion and their talent and their
Right.
gifts, where it wasn't taboo to see that. Where everybody was just coming to see their kids excited with flowers and cameras and all of that. And it was just like, wow, finally a world where I can exist. And then
Right.
that helped me with my manhood, because now I got to find some adults out here
Right.
who was into the arts. And it was okay to do this. And it was okay for you to talk. And it's okay for you to be expressive. And it's okay for you to do all of these things. And then in that instance of having, you know how they always say a black man has to have an education.
Right.
Once I got to that point in life, then that's where the systematic racism and all of that kind of boils in, because when it's time for you to get jobs, it kind of worked in my favor. Because I am in HR, it's hardly, first of all, it's not a man's career field at all. It's hardly any men in human resources. And then on top of that, you're a black man at that. Oh, we got to get you in here because we're checking off 2 boxes. You're a male and you're a minority, so we can check off
Right.
both of those boxes, but you're here. But then that doesn't make it any easier, because that makes you work a lot harder, because now you got to prove yourself of why you're here. And I'll be at the bottom. Like, you know how many jobs I've been in HR where I've been the bottom of the totem pole forever, and I've watched people get promoted in front of me. I've watched people take credit for the shit that I've done, because nobody will ever believe that the black man did it. Why would you?
True.
Like, he's just here.
True.
We put him in the department.
Yeah.
So why would
Then
you feel
we
that
can't
way?
read or write.
So that's
don't.
Then we can't do nothing.
No, we
Can't
can't.
write a
We can't do
paragraph.
nothing.
Lift the box.
We can't do
Okay.
nothing that's over, outside of our job limit. It's like, wait, you did that. The man turned around and said, "Stephanie, you the bomb." I said, "She's the fucking what? She's what? Is she what?" Because I don't remember Stephanie even being here that day that shit got done. Stephanie wasn't here.
Stephanie pissed you off.
Stephanie pissed off right now.
Trigger.
When you see
Trigger.
this, Stephanie, I know that.
Trigger.
I know you ain't caught you. I did it. And that's okay. And that's okay. That's just our experience. And you got to keep working at it. And you got to keep working at it and keep going, and keep going. Because being here, even in this position right here, like you said, Jerome, to match what you said, responsibility. This
Right.
is it. This is the responsibility right here. If I don't affect nobody else, I got 7 guys right here who sit here having a conversation with me about their experience.
One thing you
That's
said.
what the
Yeah,
big
I'm sorry.
one.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Jerome.
One thing you said, and I work in childcare,
Mm-hmm.
so similar experience where ain't no guys in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely no black men in here.
Mhm.
So let's tie this in. I rose to the position that I'm in. I'm in administration.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the position that I am. I know I'm a diversity hire, but I'm going to take that because, as Tiberius said, I'm playing the game.
The game.
I'm going to play the game.
Ding, ding, ding,
So
ding,
I'm going to
ding.
play the game and take the position that you gave me. But now that I'm here, it's easy to get rid of me
Oh, yeah.
because I'm here and I know what I look like and I know what I came in representing. So it's easy to remove me and put something else that looks a little bit more familiar and a little bit more comfortable
They're looking
for
for
you, right? A little bit more appetizing
Especially
when
when
I'm
you have
there.
a certain look as a black man.
Right.
Because I am
Let's
tatted.
play.
I'm
Let's
tatted.
play.
I have a beard. I have one. First of all, I have a tat on my neck.
On your neck.
So it's already another thing. So that when you have like a certain look to you, now it's like, all right, we got to kind of walk on
So
eggshells
that's the
in here with
question.
you because
Do
you
you
know.
think black men put themselves in that position?
Hell no, because
So
you're
just
not
for
going to
example,
me.
my name is Rodney. I always get hired, and I don't have any
Okay.
But here's
invisible
the thing.
tattoos. And I kind of ride on that game because it's just like, well, if I know y'all treating people a certain kind of way, fine, I'll play the game. My name ain't. I don't know. I don't
Hakeem,
my
Marquise,
name
whatever,
is Hakeem,
but at the end of the
so
day,
I play on that.
It don't matter what the hell my name is.
But
at the same time, though.
It's due for them. I'm just saying.
But that's why I was saying, like, I was blessed. Like, if I put my name on the application, like,
Right.
Trent is like can be
Oh,
anybody.
man, that's white.
Yeah.
So it's like, but those are games that we beat earlier, and we use those to our advantage.
Yeah.
But when you're in like management, like Reese was saying, like so am I. But it's like when there's a guy who literally looks like a school shooter, like
Yeah.
long ponytail, like scrawny blonde hair. It's like I know that I couldn't do that. I know I couldn't look as relaxed at work. Like I have to be like to the nines every day. Like I have to.
But
That's
there's
true.
a responsibility that comes with that. If you are afforded the opportunity to get to the position that you played the game for, you now have the responsibility of bringing on those that look like you, and it don't matter what your name is.
Exactly. That's it.
So I'm going to
That's
hire
it.
the Marquise. I'm going to hire the Ramik. I'm going to hire them because I know what they can do.
Because we got a couple more minutes, y'all. And I want to be able to get this out because I would be remiss if we didn't start talking about our fallen soldiers that we lost to the bullshit out here against the whites, against our black people.
Yeah.
Shout out to George Floyd and
Yes,
all the
sir.
other brothers out there, Trayvon Martin.
Right.
The list goes on. Eric Gardner, all of them, Oscar Grant. We can go on and on and on. We shouldn't even be able to go on and on and on. But since we can, we have to be. We would be remiss if we didn't mention them and mention what's going on in the world and how we feel about this. Are we afraid? Are we tough enough? Are we taking it? Are we accepting it? Are we moving past it? Are we fighting it? What are we doing right now?
So I think one thing that's really important to me, and I've always said it, I don't fear no man that bleeds the same blood as me. I don't care how big you are, I don't care how strong you are, none of that matters because at the end of the day, you're still a man, I'm a man, and we gonna go head to, toe to toe as men. But, the weird thing is you are put in a position, like for me, I went to Central High, so it was kind of like the melting pot of high school. We got people from everywhere. And then I went to Hampton. So I went to HBCU in Virginia.
Wow.
And it's in the middle of basically nowhere, and the town is very divided. This side is racist, this side you chill. And you are like, well, I remember when I first went down there, it was a culture shock. Because Philly's not like that. You know what I'm saying? You got racism, but like, I don't go to the far northeast, and I don't go to the Packer Ave. So I don't really worry about the racism in Philly. I just stay, you know what I'm saying, West Philly and then the parts of South Philly and uptown.
South Philly, no joke.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not worried about
Right.
that. But I think as men, it's not about being fearful, but it is about, the biggest thing is being aware.
Yes.
Because as a man, you got to be aware for yourself, but then as you get older, now you have a family, you got to be aware for them. If you have a 5-year-old running around, he's not thinking about, why is that white man looking at me like that?
Right.
He's not thinking about that stuff like that. So now it's your responsibility to take care of you, maybe your child, your significant other, your family, and now you're put this weight on you that is not fear, but it can just become overbearing with the stress, and it can become bad on whether it be your heart, your mental, which can turn a lot of people, not evil, but turn a lot of people angry.
Right.
So not fearful, but now I'm angry.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I want to say it was George Floyd, but literally right after it happened, I went to Kelly Drive, and y'all know Kelly Drive long as shit. I parked my car and said, I'm just going for a walk. No bullshit, I think I cried that entire walk. Cause it was just like, why the does this shit keep happening?
Why? And that's how I feel.
Like I don't
literally
get it.
broke
Like,
down.
I just legit don't get it. So it can become hard, it can be angry. But one thing I always tell like all my homies is like, just don't ever be afraid. Just don't ever be afraid, because when you get afraid, you got fight or flight. Don't ever flight.
And this even goes into the industry because we even just lost DMX, who the world, we watch these people come in these industries and suffer with these mental health. The industry don't give a hell about these artists, and then they'll disrespect you. I remember he died the same week as what's the Prince. Or the, and the damn article read Prince hero, Prince hero, well-respected Prince dies, and on the other side it says troubled rap artist dies.
Yeah, that's exactly what it said.
And you go, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we putting out here? Because what was that about? Instead of just saying all this time that we had to help and to reach out and to support and uplift, and even in his last days, you put out a message like that shows how we're represented and how we'll even be remembered. That's why it's our job and our responsibility to make our own legacies for the ones that we have coming up under us.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, if we are not accountable for that, we'll never get our voices heard. Because we can't keep killing each other. We can't keep slandering each other's name, being biased against each other, hating on each other, tearing each other down, and then at the same time start preaching on Juneteenth, Happy Black People Day. Black power, black this, and I'm black.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I was getting ready to say, we talked about the challenges that we face against them. But the problem is we face those challenges, but then I got to come back into my home and my neighborhood and fight the same challenges against people that's supposed to be on my side.
I will always say, I always tell people like, and it's not about fear again, but I more think something bad will happen to me from my own kind than the police.
Oh, me too. I'm more fearful of my own than I am
police. I'm not worried about them. I go on my way. Y'all turn that right. I'm gonna make a left.
Right. Yeah.
Whether I'm riding dirty or not, you make a right. I'm making a left, even if I gotta go right. But my own kind, like We've done us dirty more than I've been done by the cops.
When you said that you're a father, provider, nurturer, you're someone's brother, there's always other people who don't care a thing about
Don't
that.
give a shit about
They
it.
don't care about that.
Your time don't mean nothing
at
about
all. And you see it every day, and it's overwhelming. Literally, you can just go down Instagram, whether it's 911 Philly, no gun zone. It's always
And shout out
somebody
to
getting shot every
911
day.
Philly
It's
for
always
keeping us
something.
updated on that kind of stuff about what's going on.
But even watching it, that's
traumatic.
that's a form of
Yeah.
PTSD.
It is.
You're not supposed to hear gunshots when you're young. You're not supposed to have lost plenty of friends when you're young. That shit on a war zone. You're not supposed to know 6 people who died by the time you're 18. You're not supposed to hear gunshots on the way home.
And I just want to hit one thing on that. What you just said. One of the arguments we always hear, everybody got the same opportunity. I want to say that is not the case.
That's not true.
We all grow up in different environments, and me growing up out in the county is different than growing up in North Philly. It's different growing up in South Philly.
Absolutely.
The 16-year-old me is not doing the same thing the 16-year-old is doing in North Philly.
Different
We don't
circumstances.
all have
The
the
same
same
opportunity.
opportunities.
I agree.
We've got to learn to be accustomed to each and every individual.
And that's why we got to support each other.
Yeah.
And that's all in all. I really, really appreciate y'all coming through to talk about this.
So,
Wait,
come on, fellas.
shout out to you.
Come on.
Shout out to you. Shout out to who else? You. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to us. We out here with y'all. We out here doing it. My boys, I love y'all. Congratulations to my boys who got kindergarten. We're going to first grade. We're going up. We're going up. So shout out to y'all and let's go. I appreciate it. This was everybody talking about it. We'll see you next week when we're going to talk about what ifs. I ain't even going to tell you what it's about, but we just going to peep that. See y'all next week. Holla at us.